Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Laura. Today we're talking about a fascinating and very practical topic, improving your memory.
Memory is such an essential part of our lives. We rely on it every day for everything from remembering passwords to learning new skills. But here's the thing. Many people think memory is something you're either good or bad at.
Exactly, Chris. But that's not true. While some people may have a naturally sharp memory, everyone can improve their memory with the right strategies and habits.
We've prepared a PDF for this episode, full of useful tips and vocabulary to help with your learning. You can find it on our Telegram channel. We left the link in the description. So, let's start with how memory actually works. Understanding this will help us learn how to improve it.
Good idea. Memory has three main stages: sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory.
Sensory memory is the first stage. It's like a quick snapshot your brain takes when you see or hear something. This information only lasts for a few seconds unless you focus on it.
For example, imagine you see a phone number on a screen. If you don't make an effort to remember it, it'll disappear from your memory almost instantly.
Exactly. The second stage is short-term memory, also called working memory. This is where you hold information temporarily. For instance, if someone tells you their name, you remember it for a short time while you're talking to them.
But here's the catch: short-term memory has a limited capacity. It can only hold about 7 items at a time, give or take a few.
That's why it's so easy to forget things like phone numbers or shopping lists if you don't do something to move them into long-term memory.
Speaking of long-term memory, this is the third stage. It's where important information is stored for a long time, sometimes even for life. This includes things like facts, experiences, and skills.
Now that we know how memory works, let's talk about ways to improve it. One of the most effective strategies is repetition.
Repetition helps because it strengthens the neural connections in your brain. For example, if you're learning new vocabulary in English, repeating the words multiple times out loud, in writing, or in sentences makes them stick.
Another powerful technique is association. This means connecting new information to something you already know.
For example, if you meet someone named Daisy, you could imagine a daisy flower to help you remember her name.
Visualization is another great method. This involves creating mental images to help you remember information.
Yes, visualization works well because the brain processes images more effectively than plain words. If you're trying to remember a sequence of tasks, imagine yourself completing them step by step.
Organization is also key. Keeping your thoughts and surroundings organized can make a huge difference.
That's right. Write down your plans, make lists, and group similar items together. For example, if you're studying, organize your notes into categories or topics.
A clean and clutter-free workspace helps too. When your environment is organized, it's easier for your brain to focus and retain information.
Speaking of focus, reducing distractions is essential. If you're trying to learn or memorize something, find a quiet place and turn off notifications on your devices.
Sleep also plays a critical role in memory. Did you know that while you're sleeping, your brain organizes and stores the information you've learned during the day?
That's fascinating, Chris. Getting enough sleep around 7 to 9 hours for most adults not only improves memory, but also boosts concentration and creativity.
And don't forget about exercise. Physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, which helps it work better.
Even light exercises like walking, stretching, or yoga can improve memory. Exercise also reduces stress, which can interfere with memory.
That brings us to another point: stress management. Chronic stress can harm memory and make it harder to concentrate.
Techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness, and meditation can help reduce stress and improve focus.
Nutrition is another important factor. A healthy diet can boost brain function and memory. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like fish, walnuts, and flax seeds, are particularly good for the brain.
And don't forget antioxidants. Blueberries, dark chocolate, and green tea are great for protecting your brain from damage.
Staying hydrated is also crucial. Even mild dehydration can make it harder to focus and remember things.
Now, let's talk about some advanced memory techniques. One popular method is the memory palace.
Ah, the memory palace. It's a technique where you imagine a familiar place, like your home, and mentally place pieces of information in different rooms. To recall the information, you just walk through the palace in your mind. You can also use acronyms or rhymes. For example, to remember the order of the planets, you might use, "My very educated mother just served us noodles."
Another technique is chunking. This means breaking down information into smaller, manageable groups. For example, instead of trying to remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, divide it into chunks like 123 of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Another tip is to keep your brain active. Activities like puzzles, reading, learning a new skill, or even playing memory games can strengthen your memory over time.
And here's an interesting one, teaching others. When you explain something to someone else, it reinforces the information in your own mind.
That's so true. Teaching makes you think about the material more deeply, which helps you understand and remember it better.
Let's not forget to mention patience. Improving memory takes time and consistent effort. You won't see results overnight, but small steps can lead to big improvements.
Absolutely, Chris. And remember, everyone's memory is different. Some techniques may work better for you than others, so don't be afraid to experiment. Let's do a quick recap of some useful words we talked about today. Recall, to bring information back to your mind when needed. Example, he couldn't recall the name of the book he read last week.
Retention, the ability to keep information in your memory over time. Example, regular practice improves retention of new vocabulary.
Mnemonic, a tool or a strategy that helps you remember information, often using patterns or associations. Example, the acronym HOMES is a mnemonic for remembering the Great Lakes: Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior.
Chunking, a technique where you break down large amounts of information into smaller, more manageable parts. Example, when memorizing a phone number, chunking it into 3 groups makes it easier to recall.
Visualization, the process of forming mental images to make information easier to remember. Example, visualization can help you remember your to-do list by imagining yourself completing each task.
Association, a mental connection between ideas, memories, or things that helps in recalling information. Example, she used association by linking the name Rose with the image of a flower to remember it.
So we decided to give you grammar tests to improve your grammar level. Let's go.
Before we wrap up, let's quickly summarize. Improving memory involves understanding how it works and using techniques like repetition, association, visualization, organization, and advanced methods like the memory palace.
Add to that a healthy lifestyle with proper sleep, exercise, good nutrition, and stress management, and you're on your way to a sharper memory.
Thanks for tuning in today, everyone. We hope you found these tips helpful and easy to understand.
See you next time on Learn English with Podcast, where we'll bring you more interesting topics to help you learn and grow.